Welcome everyone to Coffee with the Kingpins. I'm very honored to have a gentleman, and I'm going to let him tell you all the things that he's known about. But he has ventured into many different spheres. And anyway, Austin, welcome. Nice to see you.
Great to be here. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit because I'm really interested to find out from the very beginning, as a child, what inspired you, and then what has basically come to light for you to have your hands in so many different pots, as they say.
Yeah. I mean, in essence, I definitely was like kind of like more of a rebel, wild child type of person growing up, like especially when I got to my teenage years, etc. But I had a large series of kind of just difficulties in life, major life difficulties, be they finances, be they my father passing away, just kind of difficulties finding career direction, etc. So I think a lot of my spirituality is just kind of born out of a wanton utilitarianism, I guess would be the best way I'd put it. So it's just me trying to solve problems in my own life, and obviously when you're younger, you try and solve them through escapism. But that doesn't really carry you too far. So I think a lot of the things were just me looking for sustainable solutions in my life. So, I first started practicing with the Buddhist practice, and then I kind of hit a wall with some of the
How old were you then?
23, 24 around that time is when I started doing Buddhist stuff.
And when did your
And
father pass?
it was around, well, yeah, I was 19.
Okay.
19. So, but I just, anytime you have like very intense life situations, it kind of like forces you to not just reflect, but also look for things that could be helpful to get you past that phase. So I think, like I said, I think a lot of it is just kind of self exploration. Same thing with astrology. I mean, when I first came into astrology, I like looked at my chart. And I'm like, oh, this is why my life is so chaotic. Like it just makes sense when you look at it on paper somehow.
So you studied Western astrology, correct?
Yeah, first, definitely first. So that in numerology, and then later on Chinese astrology, and now I Ching. So
Right. What are you in Chinese astrology?
I'm a tiger,
Okay.
but I also dragon and horse. So those
Okay.
are my other animals.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. And then you told me that you also read tarot cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been doing that many years. And just as a quick aside, people don't realize that astrology and tarot are a little bit different in the sense that tarot accounts for the choices we've made since we've been born into now. And
Right.
so that's why sometimes tarot can be a little bit different reading wise than astrology, is
Right.
because we've done free will choices that have had effects on our lives.
Right.
So,
Right. And so do you still have like clients or people that come to you for a reading?
of course, I've been doing it 12 years. I have a lot of regulars. They come, every 6 months, every month, some of them every week, but a lot of regulars. So.
So do you just use tarot cards or have you implemented other cards? Because you see a lot of tarot card readers that are bringing, like angel cards as well as tarot cards to maybe better explain certain situations.
Yeah, I guess I'm a purist in that sense. I typically just use the Toth deck. I mean, that's kind of my go-to. But you can kind of use anything as an oracle, right? But to me, the deck is really just kind of psychic training wheels because to really interpret the cards, you do have to have that, intuitive element. At least I believe you do. So
And when did you start studying astrology?
I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah.
But
And
go ahead.
basically, you mainly do Western, correct?
It's a combination of Western and Eastern.
Okay.
I think Eastern's actually quite accessible. When I say Eastern, I mean Chinese, not Vedic. But I think it's quite accessible, maybe more accessible than Western, because if people think about it organically, like if you kind of think about the attributes of the animals, you can kind of get like at least a cursory understanding of people's different archetypes, like how a tiger is going to act different in a certain situation than a chicken, you know? So I think it's kind of cool that way because it almost, you know, how you teach little kids with little nursery rhymes, right? It kind of has that element where it's kind of you know, astrology for dummies in a way. So I like that element to be able to explain to clients.
Right. And when did you start learning or using I Ching?
I'm definitely still learning that. That's a lifelong process, but I really haven't started using I Ching much. I've done some of my own readings, but we're just now kind of getting into like the um, kind of bread and butter of that.
Right.
But that's going to be probably a 10-year thing. I mean, you can start using it immediately for simple calculations, but for the more advanced calculations, that's going to take, probably a decade for me to learn.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I've sort of dabbled, except tarot cards, I've had a tarot deck for maybe, I don't know, 40 years, but I've always had it wrapped in I just felt like it's dangerous to touch. I don't know why. I've always had it, but I never delved into it. And I've had a couple of like readers telling me that, I should study it. So in any case, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I've delved into I Ching. I have to actually search and see because I had my book and my anyway. This is not about me, it's about you.
Well,
So
no, just to touch on that, I think that's an important topic people should realize is that you could call it opening a portal, whatever, to use a new agey term, but I think that uh, when you're doing readings for people and you're shedding light on their lives, whatever dark energies are around them, like we all have some dark energy around us. It's just the nature of the universe, right? I think that those entities, whatever you want to call them, they really don't like being exposed, so to speak, at least from my personal understanding. So it can be energetically very, very draining, and you can kind of absorb some bad energy from doing tarot readings.
right,
And that's why, and for me, it's Qigong, but for other people, it's other things. Like, I think it's very, very important to have some sort of a, very powerful energy clearing technique that you do that you can like viscerally feel the bad energy leaving. Like, typically, people, like, when bad energy leaves, they'll sneeze,
yeah.
or sometimes in extreme cases they'll vomit. But I think it's important to have that because I think that
Or
um
yawn.
well, yeah, it can age you a lot. And if you look at a lot of the what I would call like gypsy readers, people with the little shops and stuff, a lot of them, unfortunately, they kind of look a little weathered, to be frank, and I even look a little old for my age. So I do think that there is a little bit of a price to pay in terms of just giving your energy away all the time. It's a difficult job.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I've learned how to do energy clearing. So I think it's really important to do that to protect yourself before you, because I do Vedic astrology readings and also clear afterwards. And same thing when you do energy clearing to protect your energy. And when you do energy clearing, it's not so much your energy, but you're basically a portal for energy. But yeah, that's very, very important. Um, I actually had a very good friend in New York City that you used to read normal tarot not tarot cards, normal like playing cards. And she
Mm,
was excellent and right on. And she always used to have a bowl of water
mm.
next to her, when she was doing readings. And then she would, throw it away.
Throw it away. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's actually a very Buddhist practice. Like, the Buddhists actually use water for those purification rituals. So a lot of times at the temples, they would take like a little bit of water and kind of flick it at people and do some weird. mudra stuff. And it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Well, I memean, water is a cleanser, and it's a good thing you can also go and take a shower, or the sea is great also for clearing. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So tell me what kind of, because you do I mean, you've written books, I watched your documentary the other day on Amazon, during the hurricane. So you do a lot of sort of dangerous. Um, so tell us a little bit about, the rescue missions that you take part in.
I mean,
And
in
how you got
essence,
into it. How did you, I mean, when did you get into it? How did you get into it?
yeah, I really got into it during Hurricane Harvey, which was 2017, I believe. And it was because I had a friend who was trapped in the city and he didn't have really any way out. And there was flood water, waters all around. And I just started worrying about him, to be honest. And I was like, oh geez, like he's gonna get stuck there, he may die, blah 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 blah. So I was kind of freaked out.
What city
But
was he in?
in Houston,
Okay.
but that was, I think, the second or third biggest hurricane ever, at least in that area. I know there was one in like 1906 in Corpus Christi that was the worst with death toll, but Harvey was pretty horrible. It was probably second best next to Katrina in terms of damage. So
Mm,
uh, there was 2 million people, I think, like flooded in, or some crazy amount of people. So I just started looking for trucks and ways to get people out, and I knew absolutely nothing. It was just kind of learning on the fly, and I had no idea that organized rescue teams from the civilian side were even a thing.
right.
But I just really, really enjoyed the experience, and it seemed very, very meaningful and purposeful to me. And I don't know how to describe it to people other to say that, like, I feel like that is the beauty of America, despite, the culture being strange these days, is like when people decide to do something in America, like they come together like in a crazy efficient manner.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 50,000 volunteers that spontaneously came overnight and started helping each other in that disaster, and it was just the wildest thing. It's like the corporation the size of Walmart coming together overnight and starting to function. It was just pretty breathtaking, to be honest. And so I really enjoyed that experience, and so I kept kind of doing it for other disasters here and there. And I just felt like I was good at it, good at the logistics side. So I eventually started my own team, which I did in Hurricane Florence. My team was actually like the first team into Hurricane Florence, and so we've been a big part of a lot of major disasters, including the LA fires that just happened and the Paradise fires that happened 4 or 5 years ago. So I mean, it's just my way of trying to uh, do something meaningful with life and try and help people in distress and stuff like that. So I think I encourage everyone to find a niche of a thing that you like to give back doing, because it's not the entire purpose of life, but it has a lot of spiritual meaning inbuilt behind it. The ability to rescue, people from life or death situations is a very meaningful experience. So I do encourage people, even on the local level, to do, animal rescue and stuff like that, which I do kind of as my hobby here in LA. So just
Yeah.
helping
So
wild animals.
that was my next question. How do you go about rescuing animals? And how did you get into that?
Yeah, I started kind of just on the Nextdoor app. People would periodically post, "Hey, I have an injured possum. Hey, I have an injured bird. Hey, I have an injured this, that, whatever." And I would just go and assist. In essence, I kind of built a reputation over time, and then word spreads. And now, during busy season, I get 3 to 5 calls a day. Right now, it's a
Wow.
little slower, but I literally right before this call, I got a call for a bird. So that was one of the things I was dealing with. So I'll be going right after this interview.
So do you have any medical background that
No, you just
uh,
learn some of it on the fly in terms of like
uh,
immediate first aid. There's certain things that are kind of easy to do. but there's a lot of legal gray area stuff there too, because any non-native birds are technically or native birds are property of the state, so you got to be careful. So I actually I'm a licensed transporter for the state these days. So for the birds of prey, hawks and owls and stuff. So I'm nice and legal now, but but yeah, long story short, it's stuff people can pick up if you want to learn it. You know, start with little small birds or pigeons, and then kind of you just work your way up. But it's not hard to learn. It's actually easy. I could teach a teenager how to do it. It's
So
not
how
that
do you
crazy.
support yourself? What are which of these venues kind of support you in your day-to-day life?
Well, I'd like to say I didn't have three jobs, but I have three jobs. So I do astrology, and then I have a sales job and also a project management job.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a mixture of things, but astrology will always be there. I did have that as my primary income for a number of years, but just after COVID and everything, it's just been up and down. But it's still consistent. It's not bad, and I also like don't in a weird way feel weird marketing myself too much for that. I don't know. It just seems like something people need to find organically, but
Right.
I don't know. That's just me, I guess. I don't know.
So you've written or published a few books. What are your books? What are the subjects of your books?
I've got two on economics, one on philosophy, one combining astrology and tarot, and then one on kind of Taoist theory on like what the purpose of human life is.
Hmm.
That I did with my teacher. That's more of his book, but I just compiled it for him. And then I have another one coming out this year on the year of the snake in Chinese astrology and all the different correlations between the snake and humanity.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I've got another one in the can too, but anyway, that's the whole.
What's the other one in the can? Please
Uh,
reveal.
yeah, it's mostly just talking about the reincarnation and afterlife stuff. So,
Mhm. How do you feel about this time that we are living in right now?
I mean, it's very intense, and I don't really think that the quality of life for a lot of people is unfortunately that great. You know, just because of so many cultural problems. You know, and I actually consistently write about this stuff on my Substack because I'm just like, how are we gonna get people interested in living a meaningful life again? Because I feel like just so many of the young people just feel dejected and like they're not can't be a part of something. You know, I feel like it really does. You know, deal with us engaging and teaching the younger generations to really feel this sense of purpose that I feel like I've built for myself.
Right.
It's tough, you know. I mean, teaching anyone anything meaningful takes years of time. It's not something I can just talk to someone about in an afternoon and get them to quit smoking weed and start, like living a purposeful life. It's like people have to believe in you enough to even take your advice, and then they have to seek you out to like. So I just think society's kind of between a rock and a hard place where they don't have enough good leaders culturally to, or they're not really well platformed. You know, the leaders that we do have, I guess the influencers, whatever you want to call them. I mean, I'd say a lot of them just, they're just entertainers. They're not really teaching much of substance. So I think it is a difficult time, but you can make the most spiritual progress in the worst times. So I think in that sense, if you are a spiritual seeker, it's probably the best time because there's unlimited ways to, kind of contribute right now.
Mhm. Well, I mean, no one can teach you until you're willing or open it to learning, right? So it's like, as they say, once you are prepared or once you open up, then the teacher basically shows up. But I meant more so on a spiritual, energetic level, how how you feel about what's happening. I mean, do you feel, and how do you feel about, you know, the age that we're in?
I mean, that's a tough question, but I would say that yeah, I just still don't think it's great. I think there's a lot of dark energy, a lot of places, some places in the country. I mean, it's really intense. You can go there and just feel just oppressed by just the energy.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't want to sound too pessimistic, but because things can change overnight, I am deep down an optimist, but a lot of these places you're like, wow, this is, you know, you do feel like you're living in the dark ages sometimes.
Right. Well, I kind of feel it's like the agenda is to create such things, but I personally, and I would say a lot of people who are in the spiritual realm or who are involved in doing energy work, whether uh, it's energy healing or, helping people shed layers of their trauma. They all believe that, the frequency now on Earth is constantly changing. I mean, if you don't look at the confusion or the noise outside, there is a lot of light. There's a lot of opportunity out there to sort of raise your vibration. And I really feel that we're kind of integrating and raising the frequency of our DNA. So I was kind of asking more on that part. I'm a person, I don't really get involved in listening to news and stuff because I feel that there's so much put out there to basically draw you energetically to be fearful or, negative about situations. So, and I believe that we create, our environment, so to speak. So, yeah. What else would
Yeah,
you like to tell us?
yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that for a lot of people, that's probably the best case scenario. I mean, I don't think there's much beneficial by listening to the news and stuff like that. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's very low vibe stuff. On the whole, there's glimmers of light here and there, but it's better to just choose what you're passionate about and do that for your life. I mean, why would you base your life on what society or everyone else is doing around you? I think it's a way to become very confused.
Yeah. So, do you
So,
feel that you have psychic abilities?
oh yeah, I've done
Yeah.
that for many years, but uh, it's I don't know. People overhype it, but obviously it's just part of our natural,
Yeah.
who we are as beings. So to be able to do that, um, a lot of people have psychic dreams that aren't, practicing psychics.
Well,
So,
no, I totally agree with you. Human beings are all have the psychic abilities, except I think some people fine tune their tools. Some people are fortunate enough, or maybe unfortunate enough, to be born, able to hear things, see things. And sometimes I think if you're born that way, it's a little frightening if you don't understand what it is until you kind of come to an understanding.
oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I knew a girl in my high school. I didn't know it at the time, but years later, like we'd kept in touch on Facebook, and she told me she could see demons, like
Mm.
hardcore demons, like all around. So she was basically living in what was that movie with Bruce Willis, the
Oh, yeah.
Haley Joe Osment, the little kid.
Yeah.
She was literally like seeing very hardcore demonic type of beings all around, and I knew her. She was not schizophrenic. She was not like, she was a perfectly normal lady. I was
Yeah.
just like, that's rough. And then I also knew another gal who had used methamphetamine and gotten stuck in the demon world for 3 days.
Yeah.
And that stuff, it's why you don't want to do hard drugs. You can you can end up in a very bad zone.
Well, it kind of opens you. It's like your body is a form of portal, and it opens you because it becomes vulnerable, and anything can hit you.
Literally.
You know,
Yeah.
all these negative beings love to feed from the light, right? So
100%.
human beings, yeah.
But I thought like the specificity of which she spoke about things in the demon world um, was pretty remarkable. So I think it does make you seem crazy when you talk about stuff like that. But I just think I mean, there's a reason every world religion has dealt with demons for a long time. So again, I think the maturity level around that subject needs to go a little bit higher for people because it shouldn't scare us that there's
Right.
a different dimension.
Well, you can always, if you know how to protect yourself, you can always protect yourself. And I think uh, the big thing is they kind of need your consent to do anything horrifying to you. So
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
say, hey, go away, you know, yeah.
Yeah. You got to take the drugs or
Not
let the vampire
interested
in the food.
today. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. So, what else would you like? I mean, what is your passionate focus at this very moment?
Really, mostly just writing and trying to like find higher ways for community engagement. I would like to be like getting groups of people together to do different, types of activities, be they spiritual or just that's kind of my focus. And I want to spend more time on music because that balances me out. And I
Mm.
like music. I was in a sign band for a while and stuff like that. So that's just me, like on a personal happiness level. I like doing that stuff, but it's kind of my main focus is,
What instrument do you play?
I play guitar and sing.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, I like that
So maybe
stuff.
the next thing is to record a song.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta get back to the studio. I always like going doing that stuff. So
So
it's
what's
fun.
your vibe? Do you do soul or ballads or?
It's more like kind of like a Dave Matthews-y type of acoustic thing. So
Mm. There's a guy that I mean, I love music. I used to play the piano, and I think I'm gonna start playing again. I just have to get myself a keyboard. But I just feel music has such a high frequency, and for me, it's such a healing modality. And anyway, like I find different things just pop, like come to me. And I found this guy, and he doesn't use his name. Um, it's, I think, what is it? Let Babylon Burn. Oh my God. This guy, his lyrics and his music. So it's something in between reggae, jazz, soul. I don't know if you haven't heard of him. Check him out. I think he just recently, like 3 or 4 months ago, started putting stuff on YouTube and he's grown exponentially.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, send me a link. I'll definitely check them out.
he's great. So, any last golden nuggets that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think a very simple meditation everyone in your audience can do that would be very beneficial to their lives is every morning when you wake up, you want to think about your favorite person for 30 seconds, and then your favorite song, and then your favorite color, and then someone you've helped in your life. And that because when we sleep, we absorb negative energy through the night a lot of times, and that's why you can wake up feeling kind of some kind of way. This kind of helps to like push that energy we absorb when we sleep out so that we can kind of recenter in the morning and refocus. And it's very, very powerful. It can kind of change your luck for the day, so to speak. So that's something I think your audience would appreciate, and everyone can do that at home. So,
What about a few words of gratitude?
well, thank you so much to everyone for listening. And
No,
I
no,
hope
I
all
meant
of you,
every day.
yeah, gratitude works too. But definitely, I mean, gratitude's more of a money thing, I think. I kind of correlate it with money, but gratitude is very important for all that we do have and kind of keeping the positive energy of wealth and abundance open. I really think that's very important. Health, all that.
Yeah, well, it's like focusing on the positive as opposed to negative because you hear so many people, the first thing that obviously one exchanges is like, "Hi, how are you?" And what comes back is all their challenges and problems as opposed to, well, I'm grateful that, you know. And I think in the US, that's a big thing because most people in the United States have never seen a war. I mean, 9/11, but that was basically more for us New Yorkers, but they've never had any such thing. So they don't realize, you know, the immense poverty in certain places, you know, what people deal with war and just being able to sleep calmly at night and having food to eat for breakfast or yeah, those are
100%. I agree.
those are special. Well, thank you so much, Austin. It was a pleasure. Please let us know when you publish your next book. And
Okay.
um, if you could share with me some of your links, I would like to share that,
Of course.
especially your link for your documentary on Amazon. That would be great.
Sure. I will do
So we
that.
could share that with our viewers.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Namaste and have a lovely day.
You too.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. And again, you can see our fantastic interview with Austin on Rumble and YouTube. And please do like, subscribe, and a comment takes us up, up, and away. Thank so much.
Thank you.